to put my boots on before my corset, and of course my pantalettes. If my hoop skirt were to fly up in a wind, or perhaps in some very vigorous dancing, the gentleman should still never see my ankles. This is very light and it's very flexible. This can take a bit of time to get everything adjusted.
Laura Keyes is a librarian in Freeport, Illinois. She's been performing as Mary Todd Lincoln for more than a decade. She enjoys it so much, this year she organized the 24th annual conference of the Association of Lincoln Presenters. Keyes says Mary Lincoln, who was briefly institutionalized after her husband was shot, is just misunderstood. What I know about her is she went crazy after her husband died. She wasn't the best first lady. What is misunderstood about her?
Almost everything. If you were sitting next to your spouse while he was shot to death in the head, I think that you would go a little bit insane too, wouldn't you?
What made you decide to do this? It's a very unusual hobby.
Actually, it all comes back to the community theater here in town, Winneshiek Players. The whole cast was interviewed by the 2 local papers. And as soon as that was published, I had 3 phone calls from 3 different libraries saying, will you come and give a talk about Mrs. Lincoln and wear the dress and just be her? And can you do that? And the phone calls haven't stopped.
The conference is like cosplay for history buffs. Charles Kleiner and Tom Wright have been dressing up as Abe Lincoln for years.
This thing go skip a strawberry?
Yeah, it's really good. I haven't seen a strawberry that red, though. It's strawberry.
Well, this chocolate chip's good, too. It's hard to find a bad ice cream. I don't know if I've ever found a bad one. Well, it's living history. And it's helping kids remember that Lincoln was poor, and then he kept working and learning and stuff, and ended up being a president. So that helps, and then they remember him better if you're there living than just looking at a book and reading it. It seems like it's more real.
We want to make sure that the life and legacy of Lincoln never died.
They spend a lot of the conference touring around historic spots in Freeport and swapping performance tips and tricks over meals together. And they can't avoid discussing the controversial parts of being Abe Lincoln, like slavery.
We live in interesting times. Not everybody loves the 16th President of the United States. What do you say? What do you do? I'm here to learn. Tell me.
History is painful.
Pardon me?
History is painful.
History is painful.
But you cannot argue with it. But political correctness has no business in history or in the arts.
But I can picture people standing up and walking out because they're not happy with what they're saying.
But they're having a reaction. You don't want them to walk out saying, eh. You want them to have a strong reaction. It may be negative. But again, you cannot argue with history. It's painful.
But that's one of the main reasons they dress up as Lincoln, to examine history in ways that wouldn't otherwise be possible.
I thought my times were the source to live in. We've come a long way, but we've got much further to go.
So at this year's conference, Abe and FDR, 2 wartime presidents, debate their legacies. And Mary Lincoln, played by Keyes, talks to Jackie Kennedy about what it was like to have their husbands assassinated while in office.
The next presentation is Mrs. Lincoln and Mrs. Kennedy.
A few minutes later, that evil man shot my husband. His hand dropped from mine, and I knew something was wrong. It's a very different feeling to have to give a presentation like this to the folks who are your peers.
How much work went into this? How long did this take you? How many hours of practice?
10 months?
Yeah, wow.
I think
so.
10 months of researching, and it took us quite a while to figure out what the angle was.
And it has to be someone you love and are willing to live with for a long time in your head.